everyone, Tech1421 here. Welcome to another Pokemon TCG online tournament. We are playing in the Pokemon Online Limitless Qualifier #1. And we are playing what I call Sandwich Spread. Alolan Sandslash, which I nicknamed Sandwich because my autocorrect always autocorrects Sandslash into Sandwich. And finally I just gave in and started calling it Sandwich. But essentially this is the bread and butter of the deck. We have Spiky Storm GX. This attack does 100 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. And we want to use that as much as we possibly can, which is why we have 2 copies of Misty and Lorelei. If we discard 5 cards from our hand, we get to use a Water Pokemon's GX attack again. Well, how do we get the damage counters on the board? Because we want to spread them out. Well, there's a lot of different ways, but in this deck, we are focusing on Roxy and Weezing, which is a very common spread type of effect here, which also allows us to draw 6 total cards if we discard 2 Pokemon. So if this is a discard with Roxy, we get to put 10 damage counters on everything. Pretty standard. We have the lure balls to get them back. And Roxy is if you discard up to 2 Pokemon that aren't GX or EX, then you get to draw 3 cards per Pokemon you discarded. So it's a nice way of drawing cards as well as spreading damage. So it's a really good combo there. We do have a Zacian for early game draw power. We have a Mimikyu for the Mewtwo matchup, or anything that we run into that has any kind of abilities that we want to get rid of on our opponent's board. It does get rid of our abilities for our GX Pokemon, but that's not that big of a deal with this deck because we're only hitting for 3 damage on the opponent's Pokemon if they hit us, which might come into play sometimes, but more likely than not, it's going to hurt our opponent more than it hurts us. So we also have the Giant Bomb. This is mainly for ADP matchup, sometimes Mewtwo, but sometimes spreading 100 damage to everything isn't enough, and the Giant Bomb really helps because they don't necessarily want to attack into you if they're going to take essentially 100 or 130 damage to themselves. And if they don't attack us, well, we have a Alolan Sandslash kind of ready to use the GX attack again, hopefully, with Misty and Lorelei. We do have 3 Pokegears 3.0s, so we can get our supporters. We play 1 Surge, 2 Misty Lorelei, and 4 Roxy. The way we get energy onto the board is with Frostmoth, yep, that's how you say it, Ice Dance. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a Water Energy card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, Water Pokemon. We have the Quick Balls, we have the Evolution Incense, we have 1 Palpad, 1 Lana's Fishing Rod. We got all of these fun tools. Of course, Ditto is really good in this deck because we have 2 stage 2 lines, so we can go into either one with Ditto. And then the Jirachis, of course, for extra consistency. So that is pretty much the deck in a nutshell. And let's go ahead and get into round #1.
You did it, Psyduck!
Psyduck!